How you doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and as you can see, we're back at it, breaking down the latest in Mets land. And in this Big Mets update segment, February 20th, 2025, you guys see beside me a tremendous job by Mets socials with a retro-themed video there for their official photo op day. Soto, Siri, and everyone else in company looking electric as ever in these Mets uniforms. And speaking of Soto and Siri, we have plenty to talk about with them today because we have some new news on the Juan Soto front. What is going to happen with him this season? Where is he going to be in this lineup? So we're going to hear from Carlos Mendoza himself here shortly as to where he sees him in this lineup and how that impacts things going forward for the 2025 season. Juan Soto gifted Brett Baty a new car. Yes, you heard that correctly. We'll hear from both Juan, Baty, and everyone else in between there on how that came about, the further reactions, and more on Juan Soto talking to the media on now being a Met for the next 15 years and everything that entails. Soto, Lindor, Alonso, Siri, and others had some fun BP against guys like Senga and Mania today that we're going to share shortly, along with Matt Allan. Remember him, the former Mets top pitching prospect who's been rehabbing for a number of years? Well, folks, he's finally back and ready to make an impact for 2025. Smash that like and subscribe button as you first chime in. Let me know your initial reactions in the comments down below to it all. And shout out to our amazing sponsor that many of you guys know at BetUS, which has you covered not only with all your sports betting needs, but also all of your casino needs. Get ready for a rush with BetUS Casino. Generous promotions and tournaments make every play even more rewarding. Sign up now and experience a difference. Get your bonus 200% sign-up bonus up to $5,000 and a 250% crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000. Whether you're betting, gambling, make sure you guys do it responsibly, but make sure you're also doing it by heading over to betus.com.pa today or awesome friends at BetUS. Now, folks, let's get into the first news that was courtesy of Carlos Mendoza that we just saw over the past 24 hours or so with each and every one of you. Then we will get into Soto's remarks, Brett Baty's remarks, how they looked in BP, Matt Allan, and everything in between in Metsland.
You basically said Lindor is going to be your leadoff guy. Is it fair to assume that Juan Soto will hit behind him in the lineup?
Yeah, we could say that okay. Soto will go two. I think we're making progress.
Yes.
When we first started spring training, I only gave Lindor. Now we get to a point where like, well, let's go Lindor Soto. But the good thing is we got great options. We got great players, and there's a lot of different ways that I could go. But as of right now, I'm leaning Lindor Soto.
You basically said Lindor is going to be your...
So this shouldn't come as a surprise to literally anyone. I know many of you guys saw this clip already. Carlos Mendoza had a full interview yesterday there on SNY yesterday, so check it out in case you guys haven't already. So did Francisco Lindor, and so will Juan Soto later on today, right around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So don't be shocked if we break down some more comments from Soto later on today or early tomorrow. But regardless, to find out that, okay, one is going to be Mr. Smile and two will be Soto, everything is right in the roll. That's what we kind of expected for a long period of time. It would kind of be silly to see Soto outside the chew hole. I think that's best for him. It's most natural. And now I just can't even fathom the idea of how much more runs scored every single season Francisco Lindor is going to have as a Met paired with Juan Soto now. Seriously, Lindor averages right around, 90 to 100 runs scored in that range every single season for the past 3+ under the Mets especially. But now to have Juan Soto batting behind him, I'm going to go on a limb and say that this is going to be an easy 100+ run scored season for Francisco Lindor. As long as he gets on base at good rate, Juan Soto is going to do his job. And now the big question is, okay, you got Lindor at 1, you got Soto at 2. All right, Mets fans, let's configure together what's going to be the remainder of the lineup, because I think there's one great question that still needs to be answered, and that is what is happening here at the 3 spot, because what happens at the 3 spot directly impacts what happens at the 4 spot. You go with Lindor 1, you go Soto 2. If you go Pete 3 and move him up from batting 4th, batting cleanup like he typically does, my big problem that I have there is solely because of that is not the usual Alonso MO thing to do. I understand if you want a 3-headed monster to start your lineup, that's the best way to do it, but the downside is it's very top heavy, and you're going to put a lot more pressure on the shoulders of some lesser bats in your lineup, especially when you go from 6 to 9. But if you go with the theory of, say, okay, we're going to have Lindor 1, Soto 2, Alonso 3, then batting 4th would assumably be one of Brandon Nimmo or Mark Vientos. Now, a lot of people believe that Brandon Nimmo would find himself in that position. I can see it, especially that way. It's kind of, this constant flip-flop of righty-lefty. Obviously, Lindor will be batting more lefty than anything else this season, but he will have his plenty reps from the right side when facing a southpaw starter or reliever. But still, when you look at the configuration as it currently looks right now, you're going to have probably Nimmo in that 4th spot if it's not going to be Alonso. And if Alonso is going to bat 4th, who's going to go in that 3 spot? Is it going to be Nimmo? Are they going to go somewhere else there? Because then after that, we kind of have everything figured out, right? You're probably going to have Vientos. Then you're going to have Marte, Winker, DH spot, then it'll likely be Alvarez, and then from there you go on with the remainder of your configuration. But it really does go in hand with what do they want to do with Pete Alonso. So we're going to find out as soon as this weekend, the early lineup configurations that Mendy's going to throw out there, and they will be ever changing. But I think at least knowing we have with certainty Soto at 2, Lindor at 1. It's going to be a lot of fun to figure out the rest, and they will obviously figure that out sooner rather than later. So Mets fans, my question, my call to each and every one of you is the following. What do you think should be the Mets lineup for the remainder from 2 on? Because we have Soto there. Do you want to go with Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Vientos, one of Marte, Winker, Alvarez, and then where are we at? We're at 7, so then we'll put probably in that 7th spot. I'd imagine that given the configuration, we would go with someone like Jeff McNeil potentially. And the 8th spot, we could potentially go with someone like Jose Siri, Tyrone Taylor. I could see more in the 9 hole there. There's one position I'm obviously blanking on at the moment, but again, it goes in hand with the configuration. So that's why I'm really curious to see you guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you for or against Alonso batting 4th or batting 3rd? I think I find myself more in the category of him batting 4th, but I also see the upside with him batting 3rd because there are games. There have been many games throughout Alonso's career where he never got at bat in the first inning because it was 3 up, 3 down. If you allow Alonso to bat 3rd behind Soto each time, you're going to have a 3-headed monster every single game out there. But how does things go with the heart of your order and then the latter half? That's a great question that we will obviously find out together as Mets fans throughout the course of the 162. But now that we have Soto there in the 2 hole, let's focus on what else Juan Soto did. And it was nothing short of not only beyond impressive, but just how selfless a guy like Juan Soto continues to be. Also, guys, if you didn't check out, I was live yesterday with Brandon London there on the New York Post Sports YouTube channel, breaking down the latest in Mets land. We're chopping up. We're having a great time. So if you guys didn't check out that segment on their socials or on their YouTube channel, I implore you guys to do exactly that whenever you get a chance to do so. We broke down Steve Cohen, and if he's trying to build the Mets like the Dodgers, and obvious reasons as to why, Cohen's comments about the fan attendance, my thoughts on them in particular, as well as what the Mets could do for this rotation with guys like Jose Quintana, among others. So check that out in case you guys haven't already. Look at this clip of Juan Soto, too, that I just have to share oh so briefly before we get on with everything else. He posted this on his Instagram yesterday, and literally I still have chills down my spine right now. You could tell that Soto now being the face of Queens, the way that he was in the face in the Bronx with Aaron Judge beside him. He can really hone in and be the new king of Queens, if you will. As much as we love Mr. Smile, and I don't think that we're taking anything away from him, I think it's just a further reality that Soto's now going to have a greater chance to build his brand and to build himself as being that guy, the face of a team in a way that he maybe wouldn't have been to the same level with the Yankees, with the Dodgers, among many other teams across the game. But here, folks, here's Juan Soto officially gifting Brett Baty.
Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. My guy. My guy. Hey, man. Something, you know, I told you I got it. You're driving and everything. Oh, my God, man. It's all yours. Look at this thing. You put the bubble on, too? This is sick, bro. You know, I just appreciate it. Thank you for the number, you know. I really appreciate it. Yeah. It's the first one I ever wear, so. I want to give you something nice, you know, something nice that you can. Well, this is definitely really nice. Tell me how I look in the driver's seat. I gotta see. And bro, this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. That is so quick, man. You know we can get this done.
Nice souped up Chevy is what that looks like. So congratulations again to Brett. But now let's hear Juan Soto's remarks further explaining as to how this came about and Baty's further reaction to it. From there, we will then get into how they look today in BP against guys like Senga, Manaya, and others, as well as Matt Allan before we wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much, as always, for chiming in.
Getting to know the guys, and what's it been like these first? Just kind of getting comfortable, getting to know the guys, and what's it been like this first week around here?
It's been fine. It's been really cool to get to know these guys. It's a new group of guys. There's a lot of guys that come in from another organization and everything, and But it's cool to see how they get along together and how they been building this team to.
And the emphasis on the new guys especially I think is important because a guy that he's been voting well with probably more than other players it appears is Jose Siri. Funny enough, the same guy who a fellow Dominican like Soto here, who many thought would not be able to get together well or have any clubhouse problems, that they would have clubhouse problems rather because of how they've yapped with each other between the Yanks and the Rays last year. Again, just nonsense, but happy to see Soto comfortable. That's an important thing. But now here are some of his comments on the Brett Baty car situation.
What does that feel like for you? For me, it was great. You know, it's a great feeling. We did our sources and tried to make sure that's the car he likes. And he was talking with one of our guys, and he was letting him know that it was a car of his dreams and everything, that he dreams with one of those cars. So I made sure.
The crazy thing is that Soto isn't lying. This was literally his dream car. For those that are unaware, including myself until literally just a couple minutes ago, Brett Baty literally has only been driving a 2016 Toyota 4Runner since high school. So this is literally his new car upgrade for the first time since high school. That's actually insane.
Are you driving since high school?
It's a 2016 Toyota 4Runner, so it's got like 150,000 miles on it. It's been going. It's kind of near its last leg, but Toyotas run forever. So.
Are you driving since high school?
It's a 2016 Toyota 4Runner, so it's got like 150,000 miles on it. It's been going. It's kind of near its last leg, but Toyota.
Now, guys, let's see Brett Baty talking about acquiring the car. His initial feelings from this, I think, are important too.
Well, I didn't know some. Thank you, Swaggy D. Hey, it's not as good as yours though, huh? No, it was. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just for him to be able to think to do something like that. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm just really excited that he's on our team and that I get to learn from him. And just learn from one of the best hitters in the game. But, I mean, it was super exciting going out there and seeing that.
Listen, if this doesn't light a fire under Baty's you-know-what to have a breakout year, then I don't know what will, right? I feel like this has to be the year that Baty has this Vientos-esque rise, where he gets an opportunity, maybe not right away in the season, but he gets it at some point, and then he maximizes it. Maybe it's getting more reps at second base over a guy like McNeil, and he really thrives and flourishes in that environment. Maybe it's in a more utility role, which goes in with why the Mets aren't going to bring a guy like Jose Iglesias as of yet. I still am holding out plenty of hope and belief that could happen from now up until the season actually starts. But for Baty, he's locked and loaded. He's ready to get the season going. And shout out to Juan Soto for making that happen. And Soto talking furthermore now and being a Met for the next 15 years. This is what he had to say.
This is where I am right now.
Where are you gonna
where to go? You know, but it's a place that you're learning. It's kind of weird because you're still after all these 3 years changing teams and here and there. It's kind of like a different vibe. Like, yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't believe it yet. I'm still in between and still learning and seeing, and actually seeing that spot. Like, oh, this is actually where it's gonna be for the next 15 years, you know. But it's part of it. I think I'm still learning to see how I feel comfortable and everything. But it's been fun.
You know, it's a great point for Juan, because when we think about it, he has really been a man on the move the past couple years, and this is now his first time to truly settle in with an organization. You could say he did that with the Nationals for a couple years, yes, but still, the reality is after Soto quickly broke out and became a Scott Boras Klein, he knew he was going to hit the free agent market, so he hasn't had any comfortability or stability since then. What has he done over that time? Still put up amazing numbers that are going to set himself up for a surefire lock in the Hall of Fame, already now at the young age of 26. For Soto to know that he doesn't have to go anywhere, that he's here for the next 15 years, because obviously Steve Cohen is going to buy in on that fifth-year opt-out. I don't see a world where that doesn't happen. Once Soto's around age 30, 31, he has an opportunity to opt out of his deal after 5 years, and I don't see that happening. That would increase the value of the contract, however, from $765 million to $805 million, because it would go from $51 million average annual value per season for the remaining decade to $55 million for the remaining decade, which is why it inflates as much as it does. But Soto obviously seems happy, seems comfortable to be here, and we're going to see it more with our very eyes as spring training unravels here, officially beginning this weekend, this Saturday, with some game action. And oh my goodness gracious, the first official Juan Soto shuffle in the box against the opposing team. I don't know how I'm going to act. I'm going to be like a kid in a candy shop. I really am. But guys, let's see some more things that have been happening in Mets land. Again, check out that segment if you haven't. Always appreciate that. Let's get into now what we saw earlier. First, listen to this. Look at this, guys. Again, talk about having a hype man. Jose Siri hits an absolute nuke. A tank, he pimps it right after. He does the bat flip. He does it all because if Jose Siri isn't bat flipping while batting the Mendoza line, he ain't Jose Siri. But you got Juan Soto right on the side, hyping him up, bowing down. This is the team chemistry that is signing me up, baby. This is what's hyping me up, rather. This is what's going to get me going through the year. I can't wait for these Los Mets. They're going to be so much fun. And now, guys, the first official Juan Soto RBI is right here off of Kodai Senga. Juan Soto opposite field RBI single, drives in Francisco Lindor from second. Soto was so mesmerized by his swing that I actually, pardon me, not Soto, Senga, that if we go back here in the highlight, I'm pretty sure that he actually acts out his swing after the fact. Watch Senga's reaction. Now look at him there. Look. He did. You guys saw the little, like swivel he did there to Pokinapo. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. So again, the vibes are immaculate right now. Senga's giving up some RBI singles. Hey, if you're going to give up RBI singles, it has to be an iron sharpens iron type situation, because that's what this is. Senga is an elite level starter when healthy. Soto is Soto. They're only going to make each other better. And get ready, Mets fans, because that's the first of what feels like going to be thousands upon thousands of RBIs, thanks to Juan Soto driving in a guy like Francisco Lindor. And here's further clips here of Senga ghost forking it up against both Soto and the polar bear and Pete Alonso earlier today. Alonso did hit a screecher there off of Senga at the end of his session against him. So Alonso, who I will say had a little bit of a scare earlier today. Meant to mention that earlier in case I didn't already. Let me show you guys what happened in the polar bear, sadly. Yep, guys, this is Pete. No, I'm not joking. This is Alonso, clearly laboring on the ground in pain. He sadly, what I believe what happened was he was hit by a line drive right in the face. It legit hit him right in the face, right in the eye area. But God willing, thank God so much that Pete Alonso is okay. He gets off on his own power. He walks off, and then he's back with the Mets and taking his first base drills later on in the day. So let's see. Yep, see him back out there. He's fine. But legit, I didn't see a video of him first getting hit, but this is what they posted there. Lying on the ground at first base, clearly in agonizing pain there. Not ideal, but thankfully Alonso is okay. So another day where we have at least some type of scare. That's how you know that something right is happening in Mets land. Seriously, it is a Mets spring training unless you have to basically say a couple days in, all right, let's just wrap everyone in bubble wrap because I'm not okay. I'm not comfortable with this. But all jokes aside, guys, and now let's get into the key news I want to share. And that's all thanks to a guy that I absolutely love, and that's Will Salmon. Many of you guys know Will Salmon. Will has been doing a really good job covering the Mets on the beat through The Athletic for the Mets over the past couple of years. And Will, who's a friend of the platform that we've had in the past, came out with a great breakdown with Matt Allan. Remember him, guys? Matt Allan, former top pitching prospect, and I quote, I feel like, honestly, I'm in the best version of myself that I've ever been. Guys, let's get into Matt Allan in this story, because if you guys have not been following along the Matt Allan story, it is really something notable. Seriously. And it is the following, guys, so listen up. The Mets drafted Matt Allan. We're going back to 2019, right, where they selected him with a $2.5 million signing bonus, which was 4 times higher his usual slot value. So the Mets, again, bent over backwards to land Matt Allan. This was a Brody Van Wagenen masterclass at the time. And Allan, who did then get a couple reps at the young age of 18 there that we saw in minor league games, from there, that was pretty much it. Matt Allan has been on the shelf since then. Back in 2021, he went down with Tommy John surgery, and right around a year later, he had to have surgery on that same elbow because of a nerve issue, and that's exactly why Matt Allan has now pretty much been on the shelf for the past number of years now. It has been 6 years since the guy has been able to go out there and throw any effective innings in professional baseball games for the Mets. But Matt Allan now, fast forwarding all these years later, he's now just 23 years of age. He's sitting 94 to 97 on the gun with his heater, and he's locked and loaded and ready to impact the Mets of the minor leagues in any way that he can. And this has been obviously an uphill battle for Allan, who really struggled hard to get to where he's got at this point. You know how difficult it is? And I can only imagine for Matt Allan's case, look at this stud right here. You know how hard it must have been for him to overcome said adversity after being, again, let's say how it is. This guy was hot shit. He literally was. When he was coming out of his first draft year, he was one of the most heralded prospects when looking at pitchers. This guy was legit. That's exactly why he got such a high slot bonus and landed with the Mets. Fast forward all these years later, now rehabbing from injury, all Allan wants to do is to stay healthy and be ready to go. He says from Will Salmon's article, which I'll have linked down below, the following, and I quote, "Each bullpen, each live, things have been kind of just trending upward and upward," Allan said. And it's crazy to think that it's like slowly week after week, like just kind of breaking off the shackles a little bit, Allan said. The thought of just being able to pitch in a real game, it's crazy. Honestly, I don't know, if you asked me this last year, if I thought I was going to be able to do this up until this point, right? So Allan has had a lot of uncertainty with his future as to, is he at all going to even get close to the major leagues or not? Well, now he's going to have an opportunity to do exactly that. And Matt Allan did today throw another 25 pitch bullpen. This is something that he's done multiple times already so far this spring, which is why he's sitting right around mid to, a slightly low high 90s there on the gun on the heater. But, he said he's feeling really good in everything. I think that's notable here when you look at the entire arsenal that he's throwing out there. He says everything about his pitches are feeling good right now. And he says, and I think now, Allan said, definitely the dream is there. I think it's easy to get caught up in where I want to go, but the biggest thing I learned from rehab is I just have to be where my feet are, be present, grounded in where I am today, and just be thankful for the work that is able to be put in today and stack as many of those days as possible. And then we'll see that dream lived out. So Allan, who's hoping to get back in minor league action for the Mets this year, will get an opportunity to do exactly that. He will also get looks by the Mets this spring training, so we will get some firsthand looks at Matt Allan, how either small or great that they are this spring, but he will finally be getting back out there. And the best part is that everything about his arsenal seems to be looking better, right? He said his stuff is feeling better. The velocity is looking better. His cutter, his curveball, his change, it's all better. That Matt Allan has put it easily. So Allan, after all the struggles that he has had over the past couple of years, rehabbing not only Tommy John surgery, but then having to go back in there because of a nerval issue, which has had him on the shelf all these years, he's finally going to look to make an impact for the Mets this year. So talk about an awesome story. There is no greater story in the Mets farm right now than Matt Allan, because if he does find himself back to being effective at all at the professional level, even if that is never the majors, but if he does solidify himself as a true quality arm in the minor leagues, that'll be such a massive plus for him, his career, and for the Mets to finally get development out of him after multiple years of trying to make it happen, but unfortunately couldn't because of his injury. Mets fans, that'll do it for our latest Big Mets update segment. Thank you so much for watching. Be on the lookout as we will either have another video and or live stream at much later today. If not, be on the lookout for content tomorrow in the coming days on the platform for all things Mets, all off-season, spring training, in-season, and postseason long here on the platform. Thank you guys again. As always, no matter what, let's go Mets. Peace out.